Hey, so today I want to talk about a particular place to store state. I'll get there. So let's start off by creating a new Next app. Create Next app. And then I know there's a flag for to clear it out. Yeah, dash dash empty. Empty. Oh, I wanted to do at latest actually. At latest. Okay, so we're gonna call this state demo. Yes, TypeScript. Yes, ESLint. Yes, Tailwind. No. Yes. Yes, definitely. I like TurboPack. Would you like to customize? No. I'm okay with the @ for imports. Okay. So let's see what we've got. I like to do cursor R is to replace the current window instead of making a new window. So now I'm inside of that app. I don't have to CD or I like it like this. So package dev bun dev. Yeah, see, it's much more emptied out than a normal Next app would be. Oh, by the way, this is where the command was. My face was hiding it. But I like to use bun and bunx. Okay, so I want to actually... Okay, so I want to take a step back and explain a little bit about what state is. So what I think the magic of a React app is that, okay, let's first say how it would be without React. You might have this input, which changes the text here. So there we go. So this is supposed to be like a text input. Okay. Name Samantha. And maybe here it's like profile. So here when you type in here, you want this to also change. So So you might say const hold on, I don't want to mess with this. I want to add my own little input. Input ID equals this one. Okay, cool. So if I do documents dot query selector document dot get element by ID this one dot value, and I can set it equals Sam. Okay. So say I want to also have a P. Say it also says Sam. And then when I change this, I want it to change here. So this one dot on change. No, it's like, oh, maybe first I'll grab the element. Why can't I go up? Okay, I'll just type it again. Oh, it's right here. Nice. Const the input is, and I want to grab the actual element. So I could say the input dot value is SA. So I could also say the input dot add event listener type change. I feel like it's not that. And then listener console.log. And then if I change this, nope. I think, oh wait, did that actually work? Why is it so slow? And why does it only happen when I click back in here? Okay, that's weird, but I guess it's doing the right thing. So then I wanted to update this. So the P so ID equals P. Get element by ID P. I mean, it's kind of confusing. Anyway, so let's see the P dot value undefined. P tag. How about this? Profile name. Const the profile dot get element by ID. Whoop. What? Okay. Nope. Profile name. Okay. The profile name dot value. Oh, because it's a P. Oh my gosh, it doesn't have value. Okay. So now I want to change that if I can get it. So the input add event listener change, and then instead of console logging it, let's actually see what that console logged again. Event target what value? Yeah, event.target.value. So I want to do the input dot add event listener change, and then I want to say take the event and the profile, get the profile name, so like take this whenever it changes and set this equal to it. Oh, I think on change isn't really the right listener that I want either. Input, yeah. So I want this to actually be, where's my input? And then, yay. Okay. I don't know why I'm going with Samantha. So this is kind of a very basic version of state. You're kind of just using the existing state and an event listener. But this gets really tiresome to do all these, like getting the element and adding event listeners. But let's go back. Wait, did we even? I thought we were running this. Oh, I guess I just never opened it. All right. Let's see if Tailwind works for no reason. Class name equals text 6XL. Okay, there we go. So let's see maybe a different. So like here in the next app, you could also do div, or you could be like input ID equals my name. Where's the input? Save. What's going on? Okay, there it is. Okay, cursor. I just wanted this. Okay, simple input. That's big. So we have an input with an ID, and then we can do const the input equals document dot get element by ID, my name, and then I could do a P that's like the output, the input, PID equals the output. So I have the input, and then I could do the input dot add event listener and take the event, and then okay. Document is not defined. Oh, because it's Next.js. So this is running on the server. So if I did use client, if no output return, event, oh, yeah, event.target. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Moment of truth, hello, goodbye. Okay, so this also works in Next.js. I'm gonna leave this so we can just reminisce later about where we've come from. And I'm gonna grab the input and the P. Okay, don't need ID. I never like to use IDs because I don't like to ever have to come up with unique things, and IDs should be unique. So we have the input, and we have the text, and they're not. The state of this input is not being observed by this text. So when you need state in the input, usually you would go to use state. Whoa. Okay, use state. And then again, Next.js wants to run on the server. So when you want to use useState, then you gotta also do useClient. So when you're doing useState, go away cursor. That's not too helpful. Const the state stuff equals. So let's see the state stuff. That also does not look too great. Here we go. The state stuff is like an array of undefined and some dispatcher. So what if I put in useState1? Then the state stuff will be a number and a dispatcher set state action number. So go away cursor. We have like the input text, set the input text equals useState, and we can just start it empty. And then we have input on change. Do I really have to type this out? On change gets an event and set input text event dot target dot value. And then we can stick the input text here. So now it works. Okay. All right, so that's what useState is all about. You don't need to do all this. You just thing set thing equals useState, on change set thing, and then just use the state. So now we can get rid of this. But what's the problem with this? So say I'm Zach, and then I want to share this, or say color, set color is useState red, and then input type equals color. So say it's like a e-commerce. And you're choosing like a purple shirt and you want to share it. So you'll copy the URL and then your friend will open the URL. Oh, it's red, but you wanted to send the purple one. It's purple. So a good way to fix this is to actually, instead of just storing it in this temporary state in memory, you can store it in the URL. And every different framework kind of has their own way of letting you do that. That's a good reason to have the docs open. So routing. Params. Kind of odd that they don't have their own like place for it. URL query parameters. No, I'm not looking for API routes. Updating search params. So let's make a new example just cause. Size, set size equals use state. MD. So SM or MD or LG or XL. Select type size, medium, large, small, medium, extra large. So same thing, I'm gonna copy the URL, make a new tab, and it's small. One here, one extra large. So let's solve this. So no more use state. Still need the use client. So let's use all this stuff. A lot of stuff to use. Why are these all separate lines? Why are these all even separate? And I wanted to get rid of that. Yeah. All right. Get a new search param string by merging the current search params with a provided key value pair. Create query string takes a name and a value. So instead of question mark, create query string, and then size the value. And I'm just going to get rid of this. Link. So is it okay, const size. So if I refresh, it's medium. Wait, medium small. Size. Or medium. What if I just take, is that what's causing it? Yeah. Okay, so medium. And we have size equals MD here. Large, size equals LG. And now if I copy this and make a new tab, it's still on size equals large. I think this should be so let's just go here. So this is going to medium by default. And then, yeah, there's just no type safety, a lot of room for mistakes, but it works. And it works. And if I do small, copy, and small. All right. Oh, that's sneak peek. So this is kind of a lot of stuff we had to do here. 3 different hooks. This custom function, like making our own way of doing a default. Search params.get, that's not type safe. Having to do this router.push, create like all this stuff. So let me get to what I wanted to make this whole video about. I'm very excited now. I'm gonna also copy this so we have it as, we can see how much better this thing is. Nuqs. So I'm really excited about nuqs. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't used it before, but it seems like it gives you all the URL stuff you need, but you can just do like use, but it's similar to use state. You just have to say use query state, and then it syncs the state with the URL params query stuff. Let's go to the docs. All right, let's get started with nuqs. First, we'll install it. Then we're working with Next.js app router. So we got to import the adapter in the layout and then wrap our children with it. Then we're ready to use it. So let's go back to the page. We can remove all these hooks and this helper function and just do use query state. And then we put what we want the param to be called in the URL. So we're calling it size. And then we can also give it a default value like this. And then from that we get the same stuff as useState, size and set size. Now instead of all this, we can just do set size, and we don't need this stuff. Now let's come back and reload. We're defaulting to medium because of this, and then when we change it, we have size here. So if we were to call this the size, then it would call it the size there. Yep, all works, and it's much less code, just this magical use query state instead of having to add all this stuff. That's why I like it.